During the times of Ramayana and Mahabharata, people did not believe in that. If you want to be a Brahmin, you need to have a good conduct. You need to be you need to be equal to everyone. You shouldn't be partial. You should always be justified. You should give justice to everything. You should not think about whether the person is your friend or somebody else, whether the person is your enemy or your friend. When somebody asks for your help, you have to do it equally, kindly, irrespective of who they are. That is good conduct. And a person can be, and even if a person is Brahmin, the Brahmin generation, if he is from the overall Brahmin family tree, and if he is a slave to bad habits like doing all sorts of bad things, drinking, smoking, I mean, those things have become casual these days, sorry, but too much is too bad. So if he is a slave to bad habits and if he does bad things, he can definitely not be called a Brahmin. What is the greatest wonder in the world? You people know seven wonders of the world, and Taj Mahal is one of the seven modern wonders of the world. So, at that time, what was the greatest wonder of the world? Everyday men see creatures depart to Yama's abode, and yet those who remain seek to live forever. This verily is the greatest wonder. So, what Yudhishthira tells us, everyday people are dying, everyday people are being born, but people are not thinking too much about death. They are forgetting the death. They are not taking that into the picture. Whosoever are alive are happy with each other. That is what he tells. Thus, the Yaksha posed many questions and Yudhishthira answered them all, and that too correctly. So, all those questions are not being given in your chapter. They even ask, who is the father of all the people? Father of all the people was Indra. That is what Yaksha answers. So, there are too many questions. Then a person asks who cannot come up in one's life. Yudhishthira tells the person who does not obey the teachers can never come up in life. So too many questions are there. Here very few questions are asked. There are about 10-20 pages of questions which Yaksha asks Yudhishthira. All those things cannot be told, and so much of memory also won't be there in most of the people's mind. So in the end, Yaksha asked, O king, one of your dead brothers can be revived. Whom would you want revived? He shall come back to life. So the unseen voice tells him, See, I am very much pleased by your answers. Now, as a present, as a gift, I am asking you, who among your brothers would you want to become alive? Because that's the gift which you get. So Yudhishthira tells, he thought for a moment and then replied, May the cloud complexioned, lotus eyed, broad chested, long armed Nakula, lying like a fallen ebony tree, arise. So look at the kind of comparison he makes. May the cloud complexion means Meghavarna. Lotus eyed, Kamala Nayana, broad chested, Vishalabhav, long armed Nakula, lying fallen like an ebony tree. Ebony tree, coniferous trees in the Himalayan regions, they'll be growing on. If you don't know, you can just Google them up. Fallen like an ebony tree, arise. Nakula was the most handsome person among the Pandavas. You will know most strongest person was Bhima, most heroic person was Arjuna, and the most learned person was Yudhishthira, but the person who knew everything was Sahadeva. Sahadeva knew everything, but in case he had opened his mouth, his head would turn into 1,000 pieces. That's why he doesn't open his mouth. And then this is what Yudhishthira tells. The Yaksha was pleased at this and asked Yudhishthira, Why do you choose Nakula in preference to Bhima, who has a strength of 16,000 elephants? I have heard that Bhima is most dear to you. And why not Arjuna, whose prowess in arms is your protection? Tell me, why do you choose Nakula rather than either of these two? So Yaksha also becomes very curious. He has his own brothers Bhima and Arjuna. Why does he want Nakula to be alive? Bhima is the dearest brother because he is born just immediately after him. They have a more connection and bonding and all of that. And then Bhima has so much of strength. Keeping Bhima with him, he can fight any enemy. And then Arjuna also. Arjuna is also nothing less. I mean, he is also very strong. He protects his brothers. His arrows can kill thousands and lakhs and crores of enemies. He has so much of prowess in him. Prowess means same thing like power, but in Old English. Tell me, why do you choose Nakula? Yudhishthira replied, O Yaksha, Kunti and Madri were two wives of my father. I, the son of Kunti, am surviving, and so she is not completely bereaved. So it is to be fair that I ask Madri's son Nakula be revived. The Yaksha was pleased with Yudhishthira's impartiality and granted that all his brothers would come back to life. So Yudhishthira replied, O Yaksha, I am Kunti's son. Kunti Putras. Kunti has four children, okay? I mean, all Pandavas are her children. She has Karna also. She is responsible for the entire Mahabharata to happen in a certain way. So Yudhishthira doesn't know that he has his older brother, and he tells Kunti's son, among Kunti's sons I am alive. So among Madri's sons I want Nakula to be alive because my father had two wives, Kunti and Madri, and both wives should have at least one son alive so that Kunti will be happy and Madri's Atma will also be happy because Madri would have been died by this time. It was so Yaksha was also pleased by his impartial behavior. See, most of, even if you were in Yudhishthira's position, most of them would have chosen Bhima or Arjuna because they know that these people will be able to, protect me. Nakula will not be able to protect like Bhima or Arjuna. But still, he doesn't care about his security, he cares about justice. Yudhishthira cares about justice. That makes him the greatest person among Pandavas. Among Pandavas, Yudhishthira is the best person. Among the entire characters of Mahabharata, you know, Karna is considered a great person. So, here also, among these five Pandavas, Yudhishthira is considered a very great person because he's very, very impartial. He goes for justice. It was Yama, the lord of death, who had taken the form of the deer and then the Yaksha, so that he might see his sons Yudhishthira and test him. He embraced Yudhishthira and blessed him. So, first of all, these Pandavas were hunting a deer. So, they were hunting a deer, they became tired. And then they went to a pool. There was an unseen voice. So, the deer and the unseen voice both were Yama, happened to be Yama, and then Yama revealed his original form from Yaksha's form and he came and blessed his son Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was born from Yama's boon, Yamadharmaraya's boon. He was born. I mean, boon Vara. Kunti was given Vara by Durvasa Muni, and first she uses that mantra when she was a small child, 13-14-year-old girl maybe. She gives birth to Karna and throws him into the river Ganga. And then, after marrying Pandu, she calls Yamadharmaraya to give a boon of a child, then Yudhishthira will be born. So, Yudhishthira's father is Yama. So he comes and blesses his son. Yama said, Only a few days remain to complete the stipulated period of your exile in the forest. The 13th year will also pass by. None of your enemies will be able to discover you. You will successfully fulfill your undertaking. And saying this, he disappeared. He told, There are just few days for your complete period of exile in the forest. Sometimes in Kannada Kumaravyasa Bharata, this is the last day of their 12th year. And the next year, they go for Ajnatavasa. Here, some days are remaining, according to this story and this author. The 13th year will also pass by. None of your enemies will be able to discover you. In 13th year, that is Ajnatavasa, none of your enemies will know that you are Pandavas. And by saying this, he told, all your wishes will be fulfilled, all of you will be successful, all your undertaking will happen seamlessly. And saying this, he disappeared. He just became Maya. Thanks.